Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to our Amud Yomi Shiur. Be'ezras Hashem, Daf Yud Beis Amud Aleph in the bottom of the page. We are in a new Mishnah. This shiur is for the Hatzala v'Hatzlocha of the whole of Klal Yisrael. Please daven and learn for the Hatzala of Yehonasan Asher Yehuda ben Michal. Yonatan Asher Yehuda ben Michal is a very fine young man, a personal friend of mine who is in jail in Ireland for performing bris milah. Very sad story. Please daven for him. Yehonatan Asher Yehuda ben Michal. The shiur should be for his atzlocha. Okay, the shiur is also for the Ilui Neshama of Hormoz Herzl ben Nehemiah. Says the Mishnah. We're learning now Maseches Makkos. We're learning about the idea of Rotzech b'shoigeg. And as we all know, a Rotzech b'shoigeg should go to an Ir Miklat, and if he leaves the Ir Miklat, either b'shogeg, b'mezid, we discussed it, then out of the Ir Miklat, he can be killed by goyal adam, possibly by other people. Now the Mishnah is going to define for us a certain situation regarding the borders of the Ir Miklat. Says the Mishnah, Ilan shu oimed b'toich tchum. In Ilan, there's a tree that stands inside the borders of the Ir Miklat, okay, meaning that the trunk of the tree, the main part of the tree, is inside the Ir Miklat. The knife, i.e. the branches, they stick out outside the border of the town. So the trunk is in one place, and the tree is like borderline, while the branches are sticking out to the outside of the Ir Miklat. Or the other way around. The tree and its trunk and roots are outside the city, outside the border. And the knife, the branches, they are sticking in to the inside of the tchum, the inside of the city. Then we always follow the knife, meaning we always define the location of the tree regarding based on the knife. In other words, the location of the branches is what determines the location of the tree. Meaning, explains Rashi, that if the person, let's say, is now sitting somehow, standing in the trunk or right next to the trunk somehow, he found a niche in the trunk and he's there, so it doesn't make a difference. What makes a difference is where the branches are. In other words, let's say the branches are outside the city, right? So now, and the person is in the city holding the trunk or somehow sitting in the trunk itself, it doesn't help because the branches are outside. If the branches are outside, then it's considered as the entire tree is outside. And therefore, although he's in the borders of the city, but because the trunk is inside, because the branches that are more important, they are out, therefore they are considered to be, the whole tree is considered to be out, and the person is outside the Ir Miklat. And the Choyra, he can be killed. Now, what about the other way around? Also, now that's good news. If the tree trunk is outside and branches sticking in, then even if the guy is somehow in the trunk, right next to the trunk, outside the border, because the branches are inside, then the whole tree is considered to be inside. And therefore, very good, therefore we say that the person cannot be killed. Although he's geographically outside the Ir Miklat, but he is in a tree, so to speak, in which branches are inside, then the whole thing is inside. Basically, that's what the Mishnah says. You, of course, may ask the question, as people are asking this morning. The question was, well, won't you say that the trunk determines the location more than the branches? We're going to explain the svara later. Frag the Gemara. The Gemara starts off with a question, Vermini. We're going to challenge what we saw in the Mishnah from a different Mishnah regarding Maaser Sheni. Vermini. We saw in the Mishnah in Maaser Sheni, Ilan shu oimed befnim, meaning we're now talking about Yerushalayim. We're talking about a tree that is on the borders of Yerushalayim, Ir Kodesh, Tibona v'Sikona b'Mero b'Meinu Amen. And now there is the tree which is in the very similar situation to the tree of our Mishnah. Ilan shomet v'noite lachutz. There is an ilan, that a tree that's planted inside Yerushalayim. The branches are sticking outside. Or the other way around. It is standing outside Yerushalayim with the branches sticking in, inclined inside. So now, who cares whether we are in Yerushalayim or not? We all know maaser sheni. What's halacha in maaser sheni? We know maaser sheni can only be eaten inside Yerushalayim. Outside Yerushalayim, you cannot eat the maaser sheni. You can be poide. You can redeem it. Inside Yerushalayim, you should eat the maaser sheni, and you can't redeem it over there. Can't do pidyon. So now, mikeneged, says the Mishnah, mikeneged dechom v'lifnim kilifnim. Whatever is inside the wall, regardless of the tree, is like the inside. Whatever is outside the choima is outside. Basically, in one simple sentence, that Mishnah is telling me blatantly in my face that we just don't care about the tree. The Mishnah says, listen, mister, I don't care. The tree is inclining, I don't care. Whatever is inside the wall is inside. Whatever outside is outside. And that's exactly the opposite of what our Mishnah said. Our Mishnah cares a lot about the location of the branches. And here, we don't care about either the branches nor the trunk. We just say what's inside, inside, what's outside, outside. Finished. You can only eat inside the choim with maaser sheni. Outside the choim, you can't eat. So, seems to be a contradiction from maaser to Ir Miklat. Answers the Gemara, Baruch Hashem. Maaser Ir Miklat karomis. Are you asking me, are you basically challenging the maaser vis-a-vis Ir Miklat? It's not the same thing. It's not the same logic. Why? Maaser b'choima Torah rachmana. Comes to maaser, what the Torah cares about is just the choima, is whether you're inside or outside. Why? Says Rashi. It says in the Torah, Lifnei Hashem Elokecha Tochlenu. You have to be located in front of Hashem. You have to be positioned, located where Hashem is, so to speak, in Yerushalayim. The location is Yerushalayim. We're talking about trees over here. But Ir Miklat b'dirato l'rachmano. Comes to Ir Miklat, it's not about the location only, it's about living. The pasuk says, Rozok Rashi, quotes Rashi, Ki be'ir miklata yeshev. The person, the girl, the Rotzach B'Shegeg, supposed to be living in the Ir Miklat. And therefore what? We care about which part of the tree is more livable, is more habitable. Therefore, benoifoi mitdalei. In the noif, and now we're talking not about sitting under the tree. When we said the branches, we meant the guy's actually sitting on the branches. He built himself a little tree house, or just sitting on the branch. Relative, yeah, if you had to live in a tree, noifoi mitdalei. The noif, the branches, is a place where the person, it's more easy, more normal for him to live there. Because loy mitdalei, the ikar, the trunk, how can you live in the trunk of the tree? I don't know. You make a hole, what's going on? Yeah, it's not livable. Maybe you can stay there a little bit, but it's not a place to live. And since that, now you're not supposed to live, the Ritva points out, you're not supposed to live in the Tchum, right? You're supposed to live inside the city, right? Not supposed to live in the orbit, in the outside of the city. But we're not saying you should live in a tree. What we're trying to say is, when it comes to location of the Ir Miklat, how to determine and define an Ir Miklat vis-a-vis a tree makes a difference. Why? Because the place, the treetop, the branches of the tree is the livable part. That's a place where it's relatively easier to live. And therefore, a tree which is outside the trunk, but the branches are inside, that tree is considered, if anybody wants to build a tree house, anybody wants to live in a tree, some people actually live like that for years, yeah? So therefore, that tree is considered to be a tree of the Ir Miklat, although the trunk is outside. Very good. That also explains the soul of the Mishnah. Very nice. When it comes to maaser, we don't care about location of the tree either way. Comes to maaser, we do care. Very good. We care about the location of the branches. Okay. The Gemara is now asking a different question. The Rami maaser a maaser. The Gemara is now asking from one Mishnah of maaser over the other one. Yep. Up until now, we said that there is a when it comes to maaser, we don't care about the location of the tree. What's inside Yerushalayim is inside, outside Yerushalayim is outside, and that's about it. Now we'll see a Mishnah that says otherwise. It says the Tanya, but Rishonim correct it to be a Mishnah. The Tnan, B'Yerushalayim holoch achar anoif, b'Ir Miklat holoch achar anoif. Nice and simple, clear. This Mishnah is telling me that both in Yerushalayim we follow the noif, and Ir Miklat is also the noif. Yeah, in other words, both Yerushalayim and Ir Miklat, Yerushalayim for maaser sheni, and Ir Miklat regarding the whether you can or cannot kill the otzech b'shoegen, you follow the branches, also in Yerushalayim. So somebody here believes that when it comes to Yerushalayim maaser sheni, the location of Yerushalayim and the tree inside Yerushalayim is always determined by the knife, which means if the tree is outside Yerushalayim, the trunk, but the branches are inside, looks like I'll be able to eat maaser sheni outside Yerushalayim, near the trunk, because the branches are sticking inside. And if the tree is inside Yerushalayim, the trunk itself, the roots, and the branches are sticking out, what do we say then? Then it's considered to be outside Yerushalayim. So even though I'm inside Yerushalayim, inside the walls of Yerushalayim, but I'm near the trunk, I will not be able to eat the maaser sheni because the branches are sticking out. Rav Kahana lo kasha. There seems to be a contradiction. No. It says Rav Kahana lo kasha. Har Rabbi Yehuda v'Or Rabbanon. It's Machlokes Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbanon. Machlokes Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbanon. The Tanya. What's Machlokes Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbanon? Meaning, the one who believes that maaser sheni makes a difference regarding the location of the branches makes a difference regarding maaser sheni is Rabbi Yehuda. What does Rabbi Yehuda say? Look, Rabbi Yehuda Omer b'me'oro. Let's talk about caves. A cave. There is a cave in which one opening is in. The opening of the cave is either in Yerushalayim, and the cave is deep and long, going all the way to the outside area of Yerushalayim, or the other way around. There is a cave in which the opening, the door of the cave, is outside Yerushalayim, and the cave, it's like a tunnel that goes under into Yerushalayim, into the in the underground of Yerushalayim. But when it comes to a cave, what's the important part of the cave? The opening of the cave. If you don't have a door to the cave, an opening, that's a tomb, that's a grave. It's not a cave. So when it comes to me'ara, meaning that if the door of the cave, the opening, the mouth of the cave is in Yerushalayim, you can eat maaser sheni even outside Yerushalayim in the deep end of the cave because the opening was in Yerushalayim, and the other way around. If the opening is outside Yerushalayim, outside the old city, outside the walls, then it's considered to be outside Yerushalayim, even though you're eating the maaser sheni, the deep end inside, you can't do that. Okay? So now let's see. That's one thing. The ilan, when it comes to a tree, as we explained, we see Rabbi Yehuda says outright that when it comes to ilan, regarding maaser sheni, you follow the branches in maaser sheni. Beautiful. First time you see Machlokes Tanoim, great. We see Machlokes Tanoim, Chachamim don't care about the tree b'chlal, they care about in or outside the wall, and Rabbi Yehuda only cares about the noise, the location of the branches determines whether the tree is in or outside the Yerushalayim. Fact the Gemara that it's not so simple. I'm sorry. Emo de Shamat le Rabbi Yehuda, the Gemara is asking a question, a challenge. Emo de Shamat le Rabbi Yehuda, gabe maaser lechumra. When Rabbi Yehuda said what he said, it doesn't mean, in maaser sheni, it doesn't mean that he really believes that we always follow the location of the branches, and that's a be-all and end-all, and that defines for us what is considered to be the location of the tree. Maybe Rabbi Yehuda is playing it safe both sides, both ways, both sides of the coins, which means, by maaser sheni, maybe Rabbi Yehuda meant that the branches determine the location, always lechumra. What does it mean lechumra? Listen to this. Ikar b'chutz v'noife b'fnim. Yeah. Ikar b'chutz v'noife b'fnim. The ikar, the trunk, the main part, the roots are outside. Noifoi b'fnim. The branches are sticking inside. What would we say? Let's be machmir and consider that tree, even though it's planted outside, as if it's in Yerushalayim, but only lechumra. Which chumra is there maaser sheni to be inside Yerushalayim? As mentioned before, there is a chumra. Because when it comes to maaser sheni, you cannot be poirek, you cannot actually be poide. You can't redeem the maaser sheni inside Yerushalayim, only the outside. So just like the noifer, the branches inside, if you are up there on the tree or under the actual, the branches, you cannot be poirek because it's mamish Yerushalayim. You can't be poide there. It's too late. You can't exchange the fruit for the money inside Yerushalayim. So too outside Yerushalayim, but the ikar, but the trunk, you can't do it either because we're machmir. We're taking Yerushalayim and we're extending Yerushalayim outside to the trunk, which is outside Yerushalayim, to be machmir and be cautious and say, maybe that's considered Yerushalayim because the branches are inside. So let's consider the whole area as Yerushalayim. Only the chumrah not to be able to be poide. But now the chumrah goes the other way around. Let's see the other side of the coin. Now the other way, if the ikar is in the inside, the trunk is inside, and the knife is outside, the branches are outside. Of course, in the knife, in the outside, where the knife is, in this case, it's the opposite case, the mirror image. The knife is outside Yerushalayim. Of course, when you're on the knife or under the knife, under the branches, you're outside Yerushalayim. Outside Yerushalayim, you can't eat the maaser sheni without pidyon. Also on the inside of the same tree, the inside part, which is the trunk, when you sit in the trunk itself, then you cannot eat, even though it's inside Yerushalayim geographically, you can't eat below Pediya. Meaning we are basically holding the stick on both ends, and what are we saying? Both parts, you can't be poide and you can't eat. Stay away from the tree. Both the trunk and the branches, you can't eat or be poide without Pediya, because we're kind of choishish both ways. But remember, that could be very nice. But remember, that Braisa or Mishnah that we saw before basically compared maaser sheni to miklat. But Ir Miklat, you can't play that double game of chumrah both directions. Why? Elagabe Ari Miklat, Ari Miklat, it's only in one way chumrah. Bishlama, ikorei b'chutz v'noifa b'fnim. I can understand if the case is ikorei b'chutz, the ikar, the trunk, the main part is outside, and the knife, all the branches are inside. Then we'll say, let's be machmir on who are we machmir in Ir Miklat? We are machmir on Mr. Goel Hadam. Lower your gun, lower your Uzi, lower your pistol, lower it. Stop it. That's a chumrah for the Goel Adam. What's the chumrah? Just like the branches that are sticking in are really inside the Ir Miklat, and of course, you can't kill him. You can't kill the Rotzeach. Very good. We're extending and expanding the Ir Miklat to say, just like the branches are inside, the same tree that's partially inside, the trunk too, if he's hugging the trunk outside, he's sitting by the trunk outside, although it's outside the miklat, don't kill him. Let's be machmir. Ella, but the problem is, what about the other way around? The ikar is inside and the knife is outside. What are you going to tell me? The other way around doesn't work. You want to tell me that the knife, what's all the idea of Abuda? That the branches are the main place, right? You want to tell me that trunk inside, branches outside. You can kill him if he's lying on the knife on the branches because it's outside. Are you going to tell me allowed to kill him when he's actually hugging or sitting, whatever, the trunk inside the Ir Miklat, and you can kill him inside the Ir Miklat? No way. Hagavoikai, he's lamaisa inside an Ir Miklat. That's not a chumrah, it's a tremendous, terrible kula. I can be maker like that, right, to the Goel Adam. Hey, great. The Goel Adam can go inside and kill him because he's connected to a tree inside because the branches are outside. That we wouldn't say. So therefore, you can't say now, you cannot tell me now that Rabbi Yehuda is the master of that statement at the end, that both Ir Miklat and Yerushalayim are the same. Because the reason Rabbi Yehuda says that in Yerushalayim you follow the branches was the Chumrah, let's play Chumrah both ways. In Ir Miklat it won't work. There's only one way. Rabbi says, no. there is a way. Rav is now helping. Rav is not changing pshat. It doesn't say Ella. Rav is continuing and saying, no, I have a way to make Rabbi Yehuda work. How is that? Because Rav says there is a certain way to, yes, tell me that when it comes to Ir Miklat, then the location of the branches makes a difference. Lechumra, both ways. Let's see what the chumra is. Omerove. Beikoroi, the kula alma loy pligid matzikotil. Enochinami. If the Rotzeach is sitting, hugging, whatever, located by the trunk, by the ikar, everyone agrees you can't kill him, as we said, which means, as we said, although the branches are outside and they're quite, the branches are important according to Rabbi Yehuda, true. However, if the trunk is inside, the branches are outside, you cannot say, okay, let's just see the whole tree as one outside business and it would kill the Rotzeach, although it's inside because he's hugging the trunk inside, which the branches are outside, you can kill him, you can't kill him. That I agree with what you said, says Rova. I agree with the previous Malach, you can't say that. That's too extreme. And also we agree that Kai benoifoi v'yochel lehogo b'chitzim u'b'tzroros, the kulam lo pligid matzikotile. By the way, it's not only Rabbi Yehuda, it's also Chachomim. Everyone agrees to that. Everyone agrees that the trunk inside, you can't kill him. He's inside. Inside the Ir Miklat, you can't kill a Rotzech B'Shegeg, whatever happens. Now, secondly, everyone agrees with what? That let's say the guy, the Rotzech B'Shegeg, is physically sitting or lying, shaking in his pants probably, on the branches outside, okay? The trunk is inside, the branches are outside, that's considered to be an outside tree. And therefore, if the Goel Hadam stays outside the Ir Miklat, and he wants to kill him from the ground, from ground level, he wants to kill him with chitzim, with arrows, or stones, or today it would be with a gun, he's allowed to, because they're all outside. The tree is more to the outside, and Chachamim, they may not care so much about the location of the tree, but at the end of the day, remember, all the time, all the way through, Chachamim are sitting. Where's Chachamim through the whole story? They don't care. Chachamim say we just care about location. In other words, inside or outside, the border. We care about, everyone agrees, inside, you hold the tree, you can't kill. Outside, he's lying, even though he's lying on the branches, everyone agrees you can kill him there. Why? Chachamim say, well, he's outside, and Rabbi Yehuda says he's on the branches outside, and I care about the branches. No. So what's Machlokes Rabbi Yehuda and Chachamim? Ki pligi b'meheve ikoroi darga lenoifoi. That's a Machlokes. What about if the ikar, which means the ikar, as we said, the trunk is inside the city. Now, and the branches are outside. Mr. Rotzech B'Shegeg, Mr. Goel Adam is a smart guy. What does he want to do? He wants to climb up like a darga, like a ladder. He wants to climb up the tree, which is located, the trunk, inside Ir Miklat, in order to reach the noif, to reach the branches where the Rotzech B'Shegeg is sitting, scared, and he wants to kill him there. Here is Machlokes Rabbi Yehuda and Chachamim. Masovar havi koroi darga lenoifoi. One of the opinions would say that the ikoroi darga lenoifoi, the ikor, the trunk, the Rotzech B'Shegeg is allowed to go and go inside the Ir Miklat as long as he stays, although the trunk is inside, but he's climbing up that inside part in order to reach outside, he's allowed to do it and kill him. And the other opinion would say no, that the ikar, you're not allowed to do that. You can't go to the inside and kill him on the outside. That's obviously the opinion of who? Of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says, no, you can't go up you can't climb up, because I'm machmir. In other words, because the treetop is outside, you can't now go inside to use it to kill a guy who's the branches are outside. Because the branches are outside, it's more of an outside tree, right? 1 second. Just pause. Let me pause a second. No. Sorry. Thank you. I stand corrected. No. That's true. According to Rabbi Yehuda, I made a mistake here. Apologize. Rabbi Yehuda is mekel both ways. Right. When we said Rabbi Yehuda, right, Rabbi Yehuda does have the kula here. Rabbi Yehuda is the one who would say that the Otzech B'Shoigeg can climb inside the Ir Miklat because Rabbi Yehuda connects the tree more to the outside. Therefore, says Rabbi Yehuda, he's allowed to climb up the tree although it's inside, because Lamaisa, the tree is considered to be more on the outside because the branches are on the outside. And Rabbi Yehuda cares about that more. Rabbi Yehuda doesn't just see Yekish, there's a wall, and that's it. Rabbi Yehuda gives more consideration to the fact that the branches are outside, and therefore, although you can't kill the Rotzech himself when he's connected to a tree inside in which the branches are outside, that's true. But I do see to a point, says Rabbi Yehuda, I'm kind of going halfway and I'm saying, you know what? If that tree has branches outside, although the trunk is inside, the tree has more shaykhis to the outside, enough to tell me that let's say I was a Goyal Adam, which, yeah, I'm not aspiring to be, but let's say the guy, it's Goyal Adam, he can climb up, go inside the Ir Miklat, climb up the tree and kill him outside. How can you go into an Ir Miklat and climb trees all of a sudden? Yes, because that tree has more shaykhs to the outside. That's Rabbi Yehuda's point. So again, Rabbi Yehuda is being here cautious. Rabbi Yehuda sees both points, but he always is, excuse the pun, inclined to say the tree that has some branches outside has more shaykhs to the outside. Therefore, let's repeat. Let's revise everything we said. Let's revise. We are staying now nice and calm. When it comes to Chachamim, it's very clear. Chachamim are telling me, I don't care. I don't care about the tree. I don't care about the branches, shmenches, trunk, punk, lo mishaneh. According to Chachamim, outside is outside, inside is inside. Maasel sheni, goel adam, whatever you want. Comes Rabbi Yehuda and says no. Comes Rabbi Yehuda and says, I take both factors into consideration. Excuse the pun again, I'm inclined to say, although not 100%, Rabbi Yehuda is a bit more inclined to say that we care more, not always, but more about the treetop, the tree branches, wherever they are located. What does that mean? Let's put that in practice. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 cases in Maasel sheni, 2 cases in Goel Adam, which means Maasel sheni, let's play it safe. In other words, the branches are sticking outside or inside. So when it comes to Maasel sheni, the branches are inside the city of Yerushalayim. Let's be machmir and consider you who's touching the trunk to be shaykh a bit more to the branches. And now you can't do pidyon. Although you're outside Yerushalayim, can't do pidyon. You can't redeem it for money because it's as if you're in Yerushalayim where pidyon doesn't work. The other way around, the tree is in Yerushalayim and branches sticking out. You're in Yerushalayim. I want to don't eat your maaser sheni. If you're right under or next to the trunk whose branches are outside, lechumra, we consider the fact that there are branches outside, and therefore you cannot eat the maaser sheni because you are a little bit outside lechumra, and outside you can't eat. That's by maaser sheni. What about the case of the rotzech b'shoigeg? Rotzech b'shoigeg is also, we play both games with more inclination to the branches, which means if the rotzech himself, let's say there's a tree which has the trunk outside and the branches are inside, then Rabbi Yehuda says, I'm machmir, meaning machmir and goel adam. Trunk outside, the rotzech b'shoigeg ran, he's panting and running. He reached the tree. Lahavdi, like in a children's game. He reached the post, the place. Then what? He's already in the tree trunk, or by the tree trunk. He's outside Ir Miklat. Don't kill him because the branches are sticking inside, and I care about that, says Rabbi Yehuda. What about the other way around? That's when it got tricky. When you have the tree inside the trunk and the branches outside, if, says Rabbi Yehuda, I'm partially inclined to connect that to the outside, meaning partially. If the rotzech b'shoigeg himself, mamesh, is inside the city of the refuge, the Ir Miklat, and he's touching he's by the trunk, we can't kill him. Although the branches are outside, there's a limit. You can't kill a rotzech b'shoigeg that's inside. We don't give that much chashivus to the branches being outside. He's geographically, physically in the Ir Miklat, leave him alone. But what about if he's lying outside on the branches that are outside. And the Rotzech B'Shoigeg, what does he want to do? The Rotzech B'Shoigeg, he wants to climb up. Yeah, wants to climb the tree trunk which is inside, and boom, yeah, draw the gun and kill him outside. Says Chachomim, you can't. Because what are you doing in the Ir Miklat? We care about borders. We are Yekish. Says Rabbi Yehuda, no. Here I would allow him to kill him. Why? Because the maaser over here, because the branches are outside, that tree trunk has some shaykhis connection to the outside, enough to allow the Rotzech B'Shoigeg to climb up the tree. That's Rabbi Yehuda. Baruch Hashem. Comes now Rav Ashi to argue with Rabbah. And what does Rav Ashi say? Says Rav Ashi, says Rav Ashi now something else. Says Rav Ashi, Omar, my achar hanoif, af achar hanoif. Rav Ashi says as follows. Let's see Rashi inside. How Rashi explains Rav Ashi. Rav Ashi Omar, Rav Ashi has a whole different explanation to the statement achar hanoif. Up until now, when we said in the Mishnah, you follow the noif, you follow the branches, what did we mean? Excuse me 1 second, please. Yeah. Says Rashi, I'm reading inside Rashi. Rav Ashi Omar mai achar noif. Dikomar mesnisin de'ocho v'chen ba'isa Ir Miklat. Af achar noif. When we said in the Mishnah that you follow the branches, it didn't mean only the branches, excluding the trunk. It meant both. The Rabbi Yehuda, the kula lechumra. Really, Rabbi Yehuda, as we said before, is kind of not sure whether we follow the branches or the trunk. We always play it lechumra as we should. These are Itzor D'Oraisa. Continues Rashi. Ulinian maaser kedeshanina. Maaser we explained already. We explained it twice already. When it comes to maaser, very good. What do we follow? Always the machmir side. The kids are when it comes to maaser, both by the branches and by the trunk, you're not going to do neither pidyon nor eating. You're always concerned, maybe I belong to the other side. Maybe I belong to Yerushalayim, I will not do pidyon, even on the outside. Or maybe when I'm in Yerushalayim, I'm connected to the outside, and I will not eat, even on Yerushalayim. Well, in Ir Miklat, this is what matters now. Here he argues on Rav big time, and he says, he means to say that you follow, when Ir Miklat, both the noif, the branches, and the ikar. That's easy. The ikar is outside, the trunk, the branches inside. Shadi ikar basar nafay lechuma. Then you're machmir. Yeah. Says Rabbi Yehuda Chachamim, I don't believe that just because he's outside you can kill him. If he's outside and he's hugging or touching or staying by the trunk, but the trunk has anofim, branches sticking inside, according to Rabbi Yehuda, you can't kill him because he's connected to the inside because he is shaykh to a tree whose branches are inside. The other way around. What happens with a tricky case? Which Rabbah had a whole pshat here with climbing. When the ikar is inside and the noif outside, the tree is planted in the Ir Miklat, branches sticking out. Then when he's on the noif outside, you follow the ikar, you follow the trunk. Wow. And you can't kill him even if he is located outside. In other words, very good. Rabbi Yehuda will be machmir both ways. Rabbi Yehuda would say like this, very simple, what Rav Ashi says. Just like b'maaser sheni, you always, although I'm located in area outside, in the outside area, I have to consider if I'm inside, and vice versa, l'chumra, so too b'goyel adam. Simple. If the tree's ikar is inside, I care about where the ikar. I care about where the trunk is, where the roots are. That's also supposed to swallow. That's the main location of the tree. Very good. And therefore, even though the guy himself, the Rotzeach, is hiding in the branches outside, I will not kill him, even though let's say I'm the Goel Adam. The Goel Adam cannot kill him, even though they're all outside, because the trunk is inside and I do care about it. What about the other way around? Avada. If the trunk is outside and the branches are inside, you can't kill him either. You machmir both in and out, branches and ikar, to never kill the Rotzech B'Shoigeg. Very good. Baruch Hashem. I hope that was clear. Atzlocha uvrocha. Somebody by the name of Tzvi asked a good question this morning when we gave the shiur. He asked, why don't you compare the sugya to sugya in Shabbos about a tree? We also see a machlokes over there, a tree that's in Reshus HaYochid and its branches are sticking out of Reshus HaRabim. The outside branches are there Yochid or Rabim. So Shlomo answered a very good answer. He said, no, here we're comparing city to city. There it's Reshuyos, domains. Here the comparison is much better. You compare the borders of the city to the borders of the city, Yerushalayim and Ir Miklat. Beautiful. Hatzlacha uvracha. Thank you for being with us. Thank you to everybody on YouTube and the amazing Choshev Torah Anytime channel. Thank you for those of us who came to Zoom the last moment. Thank you, Howard. Wow. Great to know that you're here. Hatzlacha uvracha to everybody. And have a great Shabbos.